Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful that you guys are here on my channel and watching my videos, hopefully understanding yourself better because of them. There's this viewer of ours, viewer on this channel called Jessica Bullock, and she asked me a bunch of different questions, and I did a video previously on one of her questions, but I wanted to do one more on something that she asked me about INFJs and grief. Now, it's a really interesting topic to me because I'm specifically dealing with grief myself as well. And I thought that it was actually interesting that she said that she has been grieving the loss of her her grandma, I think, for the last 5 years. Her mama died and her grandma died 5 years ago. And she's been dealing with that for 5 years now. And she feels like she makes a little bit of progress. She does journaling, meditation, and then she backtracks again. Now, it's weird because I've been dealing with grief as well myself for the loss of one of my major relationships. And for some reason, I'll just be like going about my life, doing things, thinking that I'm over it. And all of a sudden, I'll sit down and I realize, shit, I'm not over it yet. I still have feelings for him, or I still do think about him. I still miss him, blah, blah, blah. And I'll think to myself, how is that possible? It's been 3-4 years, right? Now, I realize now, because I've kind of researched it a little bit, because of Jessica's question, so thank you for that, I've kind of realized why this happens. I think as an INFJ, we want things to be very straightforward. We're black and white thinkers. Sometimes we want things to go from one point to another. We think, okay, if we can take care of everything, if we can check everything off, if we journal, meditate every day, then everything's going to be fine and everything's going to be set and we don't have to worry about anything, right? We think that way. And because we're J's, we think, we're judgers, we think that, okay, cool, if I can just follow my schedule, follow my routine, everything's going to be perfect. I'm going to get over my grief, and I'm going to be over it, and I'm going to be awesome, and everything's going to be fine, I can move on. But grief doesn't work that way. And you guys probably know a little bit about it already. There are 5 stages to grief. There's denial, acceptance, blah, blah. But also, the path from A to B for grief, moving from grieving to not grieving, is not straight. It's not like, oh, I just follow the straight route and I'm done. No, that's not how it works. It doesn't mean that you just, if you meditate every day and you journal and you deal with your shadows, that, okay, one day you can say, okay, I'm over my grief, I'm done with that thing, I don't have to worry about that part of my life anymore, I don't have to worry about my grandma, I've kind of put her away, or I don't have to worry about my relationship, I put him away, and that's fine, I'm done with it. It's not how it works, unfortunately. Grieving is actually a very convoluted, very mixed, and very complicated process that will sometimes take decades for it to actually happen. Not only because when we really care about someone, we really, really care about them, and we really give everything of ourselves to them. So our soul, our spirit is theirs. And especially for Jessica, she obviously really cared about her grandma. She really loved her. And so it'll take her a long time to deal with that grieving process. Even, I think, there's a point, I think, that we will never actually reach that point where we are completely over that grieving process. I think we're going to be grieving over something so important to us for the rest of our lives because we care about that person or about that thing for so much, right? I know you guys have told me that you have dogs that have died, that you're still grieving over, and it's been 10, 12 years later. Or you've told me, that some of you had some of your grandparents or your parents died, and you're still kind of grieving over it, and it's been decades. And I know that this is true for me as well. I know that I'm never going to be over for the fact that that relationship didn't work out. Now, it's just one little thing. And I think to myself, but it's so minor. Why does it matter so much? But I put a lot of myself into it, and I really, really, really cared about that person. And I know that, I really will take that. I'll hold it in my heart, and I'll carry it with me for the rest of my life, really. And once I realize that fact, then I don't actually fight it anymore. So when the feelings come up, and they do occasionally randomly, I'll just be sitting there, as I said, and all of a sudden I'm watching anime, nothing's fine, everything's fine, I'll see something, and all of a sudden something triggers in my head, and I think to myself, oh my god, that ended, and I feel so sad all of a sudden, right? Now previously I would think to myself, get over it, Boom, get over it, stop being such a baby, why are you still thinking about that? It was 4 years ago, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with you, right? But now I realize that it's a grieving process. It's a convoluted, here, there, come back, go back, forward, back, here, there, everywhere kind of thing. It's a grieving process. It's not simple. It's not straightforward. You fall back into it over and over and over again for the rest of your life because you cared about that person or that thing, right? And so now I realize that. So I'll let myself feel that sadness for the few moments that it comes up for. It doesn't come up for long now because it has been 4 years. But it will come up all of a sudden. I'll think to myself, I'll just hold my heart. I'll put my hand on my heart. I'll hold my heart. and I'll just hold it, and I'll just feel it. I'll really feel the sadness. I'll feel that grief, right? And because I can feel it, because I just deal with it, I'm not running away from it. It's not becoming bigger and scaring me. It stays small, and eventually, after a few moments of me just sitting there with my eyes closed and feeling it, it dissipates again, right? For the next time around that's going to come around. But until that point, it's gone. And so I would recommend that to you guys as well. If you are in that grieving process, you probably are, if you've lived a little bit in this world. Either you're grieving the loss of a pet, or you're grieving the loss of a parent, or the loss of a grandparent, or the loss of a relationship, whatever it might be. There's so many different things that human beings care about and grieve for. So what I would recommend for you guys is don't think that there has to be an end point to it. Actually, there is no end point to it. I'm sure that I will be grieving this relationship even on my deathbed, and I'll think to myself, I had such an amazing life, and I'm so grateful that I had an opportunity to be in that relationship that I cared about so much, right? That I had that opportunity to love someone like that, right? And so don't worry, there's no end process to it. There's no like, okay, 4 years checked off, great, I'm done with it now, I'm done, I don't have to worry about it anymore. No, I'm sorry, but that's not the way it is, right? So don't think about it as a years thing. Just think of it as going to come and go. It's going to come and go. We move a little bit forward with grieving. We think that we're moving towards a closure, and then it comes back again and bites us in the ass, right? And we sit there and we think, oh my God, but it's been 10 years. How? So, and the second thing I would say is like, please don't run away from it when it happens. So when you're sitting there and all of a sudden this grief just overwhelms you, sit with it, hold it and just be with it. Because as soon as you're being with it, you're just holding it, it'll dissipate pretty quickly. It does for me at least. And if you're still early on in the process, maybe it'll take a little bit longer. Maybe it'll take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But just hold it. Hold space for it. Notice it. Be with it. Let it be there with you. Because it's also a really beautiful emotion, It means that you had something beautiful in your life and now you don't. But at least you had something beautiful in your life for a little bit. You're lucky. So hold it. And eventually when it dissipates, let it go. And realize that it will come back up again sometime in the future. Don't think that it's not going to, because I think that's what surprises us, right? Because we think that, we're done with it. I never have to worry about that ever again. Great, awesome, I don't have to think about it. And then when it comes back again, we're like, shit, where did that come from? I can't believe it. I thought it was over it. I couldn't know. So we berate ourselves for it. We hate ourselves for it. We think we're weak because it keeps on coming up over and over again. We're not weak. It's normal. It's humanity. It's human to feel grief. It's human to feel these emotions come up over and over again. And so don't berate yourself. Don't hate yourself. Yeah. And just let it happen. Feel it. Be with it. And then let it go. And then it'll come back again. Feel it. Be with it. Let it go. And it'll come back again. It'll come back over and over again, perhaps until the end of your life. Probably until the end of your life. But be fine with it. Grieving is not a straightforward process. So please, Jessica, if you are dealing with it, please understand that, you're not a horrible person for that. You're not a weak person. You're not mentally weak. You're not stupid. You're not whatever it might be, whatever you're thinking. This is just normal. Most people are actually not taught that this is how the grieving process works, right? Because a lot of people, what we do is, when someone's grieving something, we will be with them, blah, blah, blah. But after a year or so, we think to ourselves, get over it. For God's sake, get over it. Like, what are you still thinking about that for? And 5 years later, we're thinking to ourselves, my God, are you still thinking about that? Like, what's wrong with you, right? So we get these kind of messages from people because they themselves don't want to deal with their own grief, right? They want to put it into a box and just put it away. And I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. But that's not what grieving is all about. Like, if you really care about something, it's going to stay with you in your heart for the rest of your eternity. Your next life is also going to have that grief within you, right? You're probably grieving things from your previous life too. Who knows? Your previous ancestors, whatever it might be. A lot of us are right now grieving the death of Earth, the fact that we're killing Earth off slowly, where a lot of us are dealing with that grief as well. And that grief is going to last us a long time, even after we die off and, we go on to our next iteration, whatever it might be. It's still going to be there, right? Because we killed off this beautiful place. Anyway, that's a side note, but there's a lot of random grieving that we're doing that we're not even aware of. That's inside of us and inside of our heart. So you need to sit with it and let it happen. Because again, as I said, it's not an A to B process. It's a convoluted up and down, back and forward process that's going to happen for the rest of eternity for you. So just accept it. Don't hate yourself for it. And just deal with it. Just be with it. It's fine. It's not something that's bad. It's actually something beautiful, as I said. Okay? Again, I hope this makes sense to you guys. Thank you so much, Best Jessica, for the question. I hope that I was able to explain myself to you. I hope I was able to kind of understand your question and explain it to you so that you are able to use it in your own life. If you have any more questions, please let me know. If anyone else has any more questions, please let me know. I'm always here to answer. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.